Welcome back to the channel, guys, and today's video is about dynamics in FM, a really important part of the game but often very overlooked. Let's get into it. So I'm here with my partner Save, and we are in the first season. We are 6 months into the season and we're on the dynamics page. So there's a lot of tabs across the top there. There's overview, hierarchy, social groups, happiness, code of conduct that doesn't really matter, team meeting and team talk feedback. All very important except from code of conduct, in my opinion. So first of all, we're on the overview page and we're going to look at team cohesion, club atmosphere, managerial support. All really important, but I would say the most important is team cohesion. The reason why team cohesion is so important, as you can read the little 3 green lines, right? If you want to pause the video and read them, it's up to you, but I'll give you a quick, brief breakdown, is how your players react to each other in the game. So if they know when they're going to be in certain positions, where they're going to be, they know that if they press this player, there's another player behind them helping the press. The way to get this up is it's very slow to start with, but to get this up is you have to go into training. And we have to go to our calendar, and if we click on any rest period or any period and we want to go to extracurricular, community outreach increases the team cohesion, team bonding increases the team cohesion, and also teamwork greatly increases the team cohesion. So teamwork is really good. It's one of the most important things in training, in my opinion, especially when you join a new club or in pre-season when you've got new players coming in or a new tactic. Teamwork is very, very, very good. It's a very underrated training slot to use. I use it quite a lot. So that's a quick one on team cohesion. Obviously, if you're signing players as well, that takes a hit. What you can do to take less of a hit is if you click on a player, I don't know, anybody like Valente, and we scout them before you sign them, and if it says they fit very well into the core group of your squad or they fit very well, that will take less of a hit. So team cohesion is very important, and it's something that will, the higher that is, the more your team will overperform based on how good your players are in your tactics. So they will do better, overachieving, which is what everyone wants. You might be a mid-table team, but you might be able to sneak into Europe with a good team cohesion. Next, we have club atmosphere. Club atmosphere goes up and down very fast, very quickly, depending. So it'll go down slower if you're a team that's expected to lose more, and it will go down faster if you're a Man City and you lose a few games. Bang, crisis immediately, right? So it says I've got 6 unhappy players. I do, because I'm at the minute it's my new save. 6 months in, first season, I'm sort of figuring out who I want here, who I don't. It's a sort of transition period. So this isn't at its optimal level just yet. I would say by season 2, back end of 2 or 3, it'll look much, much better than this and a lot happier as I get the players that I'm happy with. So it gives you a list of players that are unhappy and the reasons why they're unhappy, and also it tells you the players if there's any players that agree or disagree with them, so you can figure out if it's affecting other people, sort of like a knock-on effect. It tells you why. Like I said, you can pause the video, have a look. You can look in your saves. I'm not going to go through them all, but try and get them sorted if possible. If you've obviously got a world-class player and he wants to leave and you don't need the money, try and keep him. 1 unhappy player is not necessarily too bad. 2, maybe not. 3 and 4, you might have a problem. 6, I do have a bit of a problem, as you can see. The atmosphere is very, very close to 50%, which I don't like. There's also other things like the recent form plays a part. Happiness of players, obviously. Players who are similar ages helps with the atmosphere because they obviously can talk about similar interests. And the club has many players who share the similar friends amongst the squad, which also helps. And then obviously the last one on the dynamics page on the overview, we've got managerial support. That's stuff like if you've got good coaching badges, it goes up. If you've got a good reputation, goes up, and as you can see, it just tells you all the things there. So that's the first page. If they don't like you, then they'll not listen to you. A bit like when I was a kid in Pokemon, for all you older people, when Charizard wouldn't listen to Ash. It always used to remind me of that.
Charizard, you can't just quit in the middle of my most important match ever! Charizard, please get up in battle!
Next, we have hierarchy. Now, the hierarchy is a very, very important part of this. So I've just learned something literally myself here by clicking on this. I didn't know, and I should have known. My fault. I should take my own advice. Is I only have 1 team leader. And that 1 team leader is a guy that's unhappy and that I'm trying to get rid of. And the captain. That's my fault. That was a stupid thing to do. Something I will look to sort quick. In fact, I might literally go and change captain in a second at the end of this video, and we'll see the difference that it makes, if any. So, on the right hand the top right hand of the screen up there for you guys, It gives you the assistant manager's feedback. It says the team leader is well established within the squad. He has been with the group for a long time and has a good understanding of the culture at the club. But then there's some things, the negatives. It says our only team leader is approaching the end of his career. Should he retire soon, it will miss his leadership. And he's also unhappy, like I mentioned. We should remedy the situation before it escalates. Now, you can do a few things on this screen. First of all, a team leader, usually, I would at the least, I would make your captain a highly influential or team leader. Because what happens is if you make a highly influential player captain, he will usually jump up to be a team leader. But if you make someone down here a captain, they've got to work their way through the social ladder. I know it sounds like school, but it sort of is in a football team if you guys have played football. And you work your way up, and your captain might not have the influence that you might want him to have. So, Buffon as a captain is probably a negative for me. He's a very good captain in terms of he's got very good leadership and determination. He's a born leader, but he's not very good in game. His agility lets him down massively. He concedes a lot of goals, and it's something I just can't be dealing with. So, I took the hit. It's working so far. I'm top of the league. Sometimes you might want to ease your way in, maybe, and just put up with him, just for the opposite of this, for the betterment of the squad and the morale. But I chose not to. Now, you can go about it two different ways. It's up to you. If you're confident in your tactics like I am, I can sort of try and maybe get over that. But I have got issues in my squad right now in terms of consistency and all that stuff. So it's not without its drawbacks what I did. The social groups one, also, like I said, very important. It tells you on the side if they're in the core one, the secondary ones, and others. Usually others are ones that are new signings, like Frella is my goalkeeper, and all that stuff. You can just have a quick little overview of why this player might be unhappy, if you can sort of talk to this player and it might upset this player, etc. And it's just something to keep an eye on. And it also gives you more assistant manager's feedback at the top of who's content and all that stuff. And it also tells you players that you could potentially sign that could fit in with existing social groups, which is fantastic too. Next, we have happiness. This one is also massively important. I'm saying this about them all, almost, but it's absolutely brilliant. It tells you in every single facet of the player, their morale and what they're unhappy with. So if you want to look at general morale and sort by that, you can do. If you want to look at training morale, so they'll all be sorted by their training morale inside their little things. Most of my, like I said, it's an early save, so most of my players are happy with training. I don't think there's anyone unhappy. Concerned, Balog, if you hover over that, it tells you why. He's unhappy with training overall, feels his individual training is not beneficial. So what you could do with that, I won't do it because I trust my my choices. I want this guy to have better composure because I'm playing a 3 at the back formation. I want my centre-backs to have composure, to have a possession passing game. So I'm looking to work on his composure. So I'm not going to really care about his opinion on that because I'm the manager. I know best. And it's only one of them. So again, what you can do is you can totally pander to everything if you want. But if you're confident in your own ability and your own choices, then you can sort of just let them deal with it. Treatment at the club. Obviously, I'm probably going to have a few that's not happy with this. Or maybe not. Okay, fair enough. Or maybe it's management. So at the club, we have a guy that's concerned here. He wants to leave to play in a better division. We have a guy here who wants to leave due to interest being shown. We can just see everything. And then obviously, one of the most important ones here is playing time. You can sort of jump in front of this before it happens. So what you don't want is you're on a big run of form and then 4 players at once come to you and say, Gaffer, I'm really unhappy with playing time. And then there's 4 players, and what happens there is it goes into your squad atmosphere and it takes a massive hit, and then you go on a 5-match a run where you can't win a game. And then you could have sorted that by maybe giving a few of these players that are concerned a few games in easier fixtures just to alleviate that problem and sort of prevent it rather than have to cure it, right? And then obviously there's an overall happiness. And again, because I'm on the earliest part of my saves, I'm sort of keeping an eye on it, but it's nothing to be massively concerned about yet. As I said, code of conduct, that starts at the season. It's just about fines and stuff like that for missing training. It's not really massively important in my opinion, so I'm not going to bore you with it. Team meeting, I don't have a suitable reason to hold a team meeting, but team meetings can be absolutely massive. They can both be very good and very, very bad. I opt to go with the encourage one more often than not. That's really good. Obviously, if you're a good team and you're in bad form, you want to be a bit harsher. But if you're a not as good a team and you're in sort of form, like win, loss, draw, sort of average, you might want to encourage them. Don't be too harsh on your players if you're a team that's expected to finish near the bottom of the league. Sort of use your common sense, right? I'm sure you've all got some. Use it. And then another thing I think that never gets spoken about, which is mental to me, is team talk feedback. Now, this is really important. So my assistant manager here reports that the players' morale is little better than average. Again, it's really early, so that's going to be that way. And he also says the current players are blending well together. Now, that's nice to hear, but I want that to be better. So it also says that what my team talk that I gave, which was I put my hands together and I just said nothing to say, which is weird. I can't remember doing that. But anyway, it also tells you their effect to that. It says that this guy listened in deep thought, no notable reaction, nothing specifically noted. And then if we go to half time, where I said hands together, keep going, but then I also went for a few individual team talks. I told this guy I was delighted maybe he scored a goal, or Frella, I told I was delighted with him. And it showed you the team talk effect and the feedback reason. So this guy, they all appreciated the positive feedback, but then individually, it said it motivated, fired up, morale boost, happy, looked delighted, perfect. My individual team talk there to Boton Balog was met with fantastic effect on him. It just shows you sometimes, if you're just sort of not lazy but not thinking and you just go for a standard team talk, but what you could do is you could specifically target one guy, whether he's playing badly or good, and we can say, well done you mate, you played really well, or come on, we need to pick this up. It might have an even bigger impact. As you can see there, we have like 6 or 7 different things that happened rather than just morale boost, look delighted, right? We have got appeared chuffed there, which is quite an interesting word to use, chuffed. Not something you often hear, but nice, especially if you're a Tory. I think chuffed is a word that you use quite a lot. Maybe, I don't know. You can also go to full time, which is fantastic. I didn't choose to do an individual one at the end. Maybe I should have done, but again, a few players here, it says, seemed to let the feedback go to his head and he lost a bit of focus. So like I said, you can sort of come into this screen and see which players are maybe getting complacent or, like I said here, distracted. Distracted again, seemed to let feedback go to his head. So maybe these guys maybe need to be a bit more harsher with if they've got good personalities, or maybe you need to be a bit more kinder if they've got maybe a bit more fragile personality. Again, it's just learning your players, how they react. Some players you'll have that are resolute personalities, professional personalities, model citizens, and you'll just be able to batter them and they'll constantly be like, do you know what? Yes, you're right, and I'll do better. And you'll never have a problem. So yeah, it's this page that's really underused, but massively, massively important. I underuse it too, but I do know it's there. I'm sort of just trying to shine a light on things for you guys when you watch my videos. Maybe things that you can use if you're in a bit of a trouble in a save, or you're playing a network with your mate and you want to get that little percentage over him, or try and push up the league. All these things could help. All these videos should help. Next, we have individual player dynamics. And then what I mean by that is if we click on the goalkeeper or anyone and we go overview and we go happiness, and we got this page here, right? Tells you almost everything you need to see. It's a very, very, very important, underused again, page on the game. So we've got Ziga Freeler. He's a guy that's just joined again. We've got to remember that. So there's a few things that are not in place. He's still finding his way in the club, etc. But he tells you the playing time. So he's agreed first choice goalkeeper. He's obviously my first goalkeeper, so he's an important player. So he's very happy with that. It tells you everything about that. He expects to be considered amongst the most noteworthy players at the club and play as many matches as possible. Delighted with the amount of game time. So again, we can go through this as you'll see, and you'll be able to see which players are unhappy and they expect to be playing in the next game to try and alleviate some unhappiness. They've got short-term plans and long-term plans. None at the minute, but they might do. Keep an eye on it. You'll see things like wants to be the captain maybe one day, or wants to play in this division or that division, or wants to win the league or win a cup. There's a lot of things to keep an eye on there, just to have it in your mind. Also, relationship. So this guy's got a close relationship with me and has a high level of respect. That might be because of my reputation and coaching badges. I picked the maximum to give myself a little bit of an advantage because I wanted to play this safe for a bit of fun, not necessarily a challenge. So I went with that. But if you don't, you maybe have just an acquaintance relationship there, or you might want to work on that by maybe going in to discuss praise player, and then we go to their conduct and maybe just say something like, I'm happy with the way that you're portraying the club, etc. And just sort of try and give them a little bit of an introduction to you and to try and maybe like you a bit more. And it all comes into a big bundle of the match engine, and they all like playing better for you and react better to your team talks, etc. It's stuff like that. So he obviously as well, he feels under pressure in the wake of recent praise for the team. He's also annoyed that I chose for low collective win bonuses. The reason for that is I wanted to save a bit of money because we're in a bad financial situation. That was my choice there. He's obviously disappointed to see Buffon leave the club. So maybe I need to make him not leave the club. I don't know. We'll see if everybody's thinking that way. Maybe we keep Buffon. A lot of things. You can zoom through all these guys. And again, this guy, like I said, Nonto on loan from Leeds. He's just come in. He's an acquaintance. He appreciates my position, but he's just an acquaintance. So he's like, I like this guy, but I don't really like this guy, right? He's happy to see the club performing well in the league. He's got a good partnership with my attacking midfielder, Dennis Mann. There's also ones where it says, I feel like this guy's a good leader, and that's maybe a good choice for captaincy, stuff like that. Influential player in the dressing room, so maybe Dennis Mann would have been a good choice of captain, I don't know. This guy wants to go out on loan. There's just a lot of things that you want to go through and pick out, and you can just learn a lot. Even if you don't have to actually physically do anything after you learn the information, but you know about it. It's in the back of your mind. Like, this guy here wants to play in the game against Genoa as he's concerned about the amount of first-team football he's been getting. So I've only used him twice off the bench, and he's a squad player. So maybe I should give him more game time. I probably should. He's actually a decent player. And even if I want to sell him eventually, maybe I keep him match fit, playing decent, and his value goes up. Some players, as you get into the future, you might bring a player in who's absolutely fantastic. He might have a decent personality, or you think he does, but hidden stats, he might not have a great personality, is what you think. As some, like, maybe has a bit of controversy or low sportsmanship or stuff like that. And it will say that your players are not getting on with them. And if there's a few players, like maybe 4 or 5 of your players not getting on with a certain player, might be time to move that player on. If he's a guy that scores 40 goals a season, the other guys can just like it or lump it, right? They can just deal with it, not a problem. But if it's a guy that, maybe I could sell this guy for a bit more than I bought him for, and bring in this guy who looks like he'll fit in with a squad and he'll perform just as well, maybe think about getting rid of him, right? All these things you need to consider if you want to really look into it and get them little extra percentages out of your saves. As always, I just wanted to shine a light on these different screens that you guys may have been underusing or not even know that's there, or maybe you've looked at it and thought you don't fully understand how it works and what you can do. I'm hoping I helped a little bit there. But that's going to do it for today's video. If you like the channel, please hit the like button. If you like me, please subscribe to the channel and also put the notifications on if you want more videos like this. Until next time, catch you later. Goodbye.